Hey, Raven fans, Oriole fans, Terp fans. Got my Terps on today, which you can get at ravorisports.company.site. Of course, that's why we're here. Thank you for joining us for the weekly Ravery Sports podcast for fans like me. Like and subscribe to all of our social media content. Thank more and more of you that have subscribed. So thank you. Thank all of you for going ahead and doing this for us, spending time out of your day with us. Hey, we know football's in the off season. Thank you for following all of our Twitter of the Orioles and the Terps and the off season and all that other stuff. We got Orioles and Ravens in off season. So we're going to have some Oriole games here at the start. We're going to talk Orioles. So thank you. Thank you for all of you that are joining us here on the Ravery Sports podcast. We see Charles Harris at wearelegalshield.com. So definitely check that website out. Definitely had our first couple of purchases here, people. One of our members, the value is tremendous. Trust me, when I tell you, if you're ever in a league, I keep saying it, but whenever you have a legal issue, you don't want to spend thousands and thousands of dollars when you can spend a fraction of that every month and have those legal needs taken care of if you ever get sued, especially you business owners that have that stuff. If you're out here and you're a contractor or you're a plumber or you're a worker, you have people and you're having trouble collecting funds sometimes, that happens, definitely check us out. Definitely do it. So absolutely. So it's definitely, and if you are on our Facebook page, Harris Legal Shield, or Google Harris Legal Shield, Winchester, Virginia. Speaking of Winchester, Virginia, Genesis Notary Services /Facebook.com is the website. So definitely you can go on Harris Legal, or not Harris Legal Shield, Genesis Notary Services, Facebook.com/that as well. We had our live stream for that a few weeks ago. So definitely if you are looking for that and you are in, this is more for you just in the Shenandoah Valley area. If you are looking for that, we have that for you to get that taken care of for you there. Genesis Notary Services /Facebook. You can book the appointment right on the website, right there on the Facebook page, or you can go to Google and do that. Absolutely. All right. Lots to get to today. Big day. What's the name of the stream? Mock Draft 1.0, one of my favorite events all year long, 2024 NFL Draft. We're going to have a Ravens mock draft in this one here as well, but we're going to have a full NFL mock draft, one round here at the start. So definitely check us out here. We're going to go ahead and post that for those that missed it there as well. But definitely we're going to go over all the first round mock draft. What do you look for in a mock draft? Now, a couple things. One, not just what you personally would do, okay? That's not the way I do it. Some of this is predictive. Some of this is part what I think the team will do, okay? What the teams will do. What would the team, certain offenses, like you're going to see it early, it's more scheme fit sometimes than it is just the team or whatever, than just a player that I would actually like. Some of it is what you actually like, what you actually think. Maybe you leave off somebody you actually think. Other part of it is as well the history of the organization as well. So it's not just what you think they will do or what they need, not what the need is. Obviously, that factors in, but also to organizational history. What does a team usually do in this situation? So all that stuff factors into the mock draft. So busy doing this, watching this. So let's go ahead and get it squared away because we got drama here right at the top here. Mock draft. Chicago Bears, they have the number 1 overall pick. This is Carolina's pick. They got it in the trade last year with Bryce Young. They're going to pick first. Caleb Williams, USC quarterback. This is very strange for a number 1 pick here. Couple things here that's unusual for a number 1 pick. One, they weren't the worst team. Okay, so they weren't good, but they didn't finish first. They don't have a brand new coach. They don't have a brand new GM. Okay. Justin Fields, the current quarterback, is still there, pretty young, and he's very popular. So I've never seen anything like so. It's a little bit unusual. So I think that's kind of throwing off some people for saying it for sure. I think they're pretty crazy to pass. Caleb Williams is sensational. I think you got to dial down the Mahomes a little bit right away off the bat because he's a rookie, but he's terrific. He does everything well, off schedule, on schedule. Has a deep ball. He's not overly big. I think some people are worried about the size, but he's really good. No question about it. Caleb Williams, number one. Number two, Commanders. Washington Commanders. I think they take Jaden Daniels with the second pick. Scheme fit here. I think you're splitting hairs between him and Drake May, but I think it's scheme fit. I think with Cliff Kingsbury there, running his offense, he had Kyler Murray there. He had Patrick Mahomes in college. I think he could see Jalen Daniels and be similar to him. A guy, I think this is, the Lamar Jackson. Jalen Daniels was fantastic in LSU. So there's no question about it. Who's the head coach? Not just the coordinator, head coach Dan Quinn. All those years, who did he have? Russell Wilson there too. So you see that. So it makes sense. Scheme fit there as well. And we will see how that goes. I think that's number two. Another quarterback, Drake May. I think they're left with Drake May third. I think this is not bad for New England at all. I think it's a lot of smoke thinking that they won't take Drake May. They should be happy with this. Drake May, I see a lot of Justin Herbert. I don't think he's quite what Caleb Williams is. I think with the difference between him and Daniels, I think it's do you want the passer or do you want the all-around guy? That's the thing. And I think Drake May's terrific. I think Drake May has the best arm of all three of these guys. Throws the ball off schedule, throws the ball, good deep ball, good intermediate stuff. I think Drake May is terrific. So Drake May, I have him at third, New England. I don't think they trade down either. I'm not buying that. I don't think they trade down. In the first four, I don't think they trade down. Marvin Harrison, I think he's the best receiver I've seen in the last couple of years. He's got his famous father, Marvin Harrison, who's a Hall of Famer. So obviously he's been playing wide receiver his whole life. You can see it. Very polished. He reminds me a lot of Jerry Rice. I love the way he runs. It looks like he's gliding into gear. That's why some of the speed criticism, I don't buy it because he doesn't even look like he's running hard. Just a lot like Rice. So, Harrison, these four, I can't imagine anybody jumping up and getting ahead of these four, whatever order they're in. So Harrison, I think, is number four. Roma Dunze for the Washington Huskies. For the Chargers. Now I think the draft kind of starts here. LA Chargers, right? So Jim Harbaugh, this is his first pick. Saw some mocks taking a tight end here. I don't think he's going to take a tight end. I think you need a receiver. Quentin Johnson didn't do so well last year. You still have injury issues with Keenan Allen and Mike Williams. I think Odunze, I think, is a good pick here. Odunze, I think his hands are terrific. Love his hands. Love how he catches the football. Love the way he plays with that. A lot of Larry Fitzgerald I see with him. Not quite that good, but great hands. Attacks the football when he catches it. So I like Odunze, number 5 for the Chargers. Number 6, another terrific receiver for the Giants, Malik Neighbors. Number 5 for LSU. Some people might think that he's better than Odunze. I got no real problem with that. He's not far behind. I think he's very complete as a receiver. Great hands. I think he's faster in terms of pure speed. If they ran a 40, I don't know exactly what his 40 time was, but he's probably got a better 40 time than the other two. But he's complete. He can run routes. Caught from a great quarterback. Really helped. I mean, with some of the jump that Daniels helped, it definitely contributed to how good Malik Neighbors was. So outstanding stuff from him. And Malik Neighbors definitely top 6. I think the Giants are not going to pass on him. Titans, number 7, Joe Alt. Joe Alt is a terrific. I think there's pretty good space between everybody else and Joe Alt at offensive tackle. Joe Alt, he's one of these guys I talked about a little bit last week. Pancake City. He's gonna knock you down. He's gonna knock you down. He's gonna knock you down. He'll take one guy, pancake him, take one guy. Now take him out. Now there's plenty of room on the outside for the run game or the pass. Pretty good space here. Excellent athlete. Overall athlete, Joe Alt. Titans, I think, need it. Doesn't matter. I think it's a great hit rate with left tackles like this. This guy's going to play left tackle for 10 years if he stays healthy. Best pass rusher, Dallas Turner for Alabama. I think in some years maybe he's not the best pass rusher, but I think he definitely is. I think the Falcons are definitely not going to take on him. I think Falcons. I don't know what they would do with the quarterback. They passed on Lamar Jackson, but I think this is a pretty safe way to go. I think you're going to take a guy like this, first defensive player. I think he's really, really good. I got no problem with this. Taking Dallas Turner, taking Dallas Turner with the 8th pick. Terran Arnold, cornerback, Alabama as well. He's really good as well. I think he's the top cornerback. I think they're looking for cornerback help. I know the Bears, I mean, they're picking first, so they're going to take Malik Neighbors. I think they just got rid of Eddie Jackson. They just franchised Jalen Johnson. I think they're definitely looking for cornerback help for in the backfield. I think this is probably your next best defensive player. Maybe they take an edge rush here, but I think the corner, I think this makes a lot of sense taking him here. Terran Arnold, outstanding corner for Alabama. The Penn State, the tackle from Penn State, having trouble saying his name. Watched him play many times. Technically sound. Sometimes that kind of gets lost with that. This is why he's so high. He's not nearly the athlete Joe Alt is, not by a long shot. He's in the top 10 because he's great technically sound. I love his balance, like when I watch him play. Even like when you think you got him pushed over or you got an advantage on him, you really don't, because he's really good at keeping his feet under him. That matters. I think he's very polished for a young player like that. The Jets absolutely need to protect Aaron Rodgers. I think he's actually a good choice there, going number 10. Also, Talise Fuaga, tackle for Oregon State. I think the Vikings go ahead and snap him up. A lot of these tackles are going to go early. He's not, I would say with him, possibly a right tackle there. So I think they have a left tackle there with Dershow. So I think like the right tackle is a good choice for him. I definitely believe he's top 10. He's right outside the top 10. Definitely a guy. Definitely, I think the best pure right tackle that you can take. So I definitely think he is very, very good. Could go J.C. Latham here, but I like him here. I think the fit there in Minnesota is pretty good. May have a new quarterback. So I think that, and again, tackles like it's a good way to go. Good way to go. A lot of tackles here in the first round. So I think that's a good way to go. Broncos, Bo Nix of Oregon. Look, just got rid of Russell Wilson. Oh, that cap hit's insane. We're going to talk about that. That's just bananas. I think maybe more than even the first 3 teams are going to take a quarterback. Why? They ain't got a choice. You got all this money you spent on Russell. You took all this cap hit, and you got no second round pick. So what do? You're gonna take a quarterback. So I think it's Bo Nix. Overdrafting a bit. I think he's about 20 or so, but I don't think the Broncos have a choice. I don't think they can wait. They don't. And again, they can't pick it the next round or later first. I think if they like Penix or something, it could be that. It could be McCarthy. I don't think they'll take him that high, but we'll see with that. Here's a team I think that would roll the dice here and take a tight end high. I think it's the Raiders. It's Brock Bowers. Brock Bowers is a top 5 talent. I don't love him the way everybody else loves it. I don't love it. But he's easy best tight end. Definitely deserving of a first round grade. I think top 5 is stretching it a bit with him. I think this is about the area he's going to go. I think the Raiders will absolutely take a chance on him. I mean, it's the Raiders. They're going to do unconventional things. So I definitely like the opportunity. I definitely think the Raiders will take a guy. This is our best player available type pick. J.C. Latham for Alabama, number 14. Latham is pretty good. He's actually better than I thought. I think I said that last week too. But he's better than I thought he was. Definitely got a better athlete than I thought he was. Big guy, great size. He could play left side. I think like you see a guy this size, like when they're 360, you think of like right tackle, Mauler. He's an all-around tight end. I think he's better than what people think. Just got to make sure his conditioning is right. But he's really good. Big guy. Nate Wiggins. Cornerback, Clemson. Yeah, Colts need some help in the secondary. Definitely, they're going to start Anthony Richardson at quarterback. They went ahead and franchised Michael Pittman the other day. So I think on offense, they're pretty solidified. I think they're still looking for some help on defense as well. I think Wiggins is kind of getting slept on a bit. A lot of talk about Quentin Mitchell, but I think Wiggins is really good. Him and Arnold, I think they're pretty much to me, I have them as the best ones here. So I think the Colts, I definitely will take a look at that. All right, getting towards the middle. Shazran Newton, Illinois, defensive tackle. Look, Mike McDonald likes these big inside guys. He's not going to have Matabuki anymore to run, but I think he's going to look. I think that's kind of like what he's thinking about here. Here's a guy who can rush the passer. I think as a run stopper, he's somewhat overrated. I think he's a little smallish, but I think Mike McDonald's defense is probably a good fit for him. He's a guy that can go ahead and play like a 3-4 end and really do damage. I think that's a guy. I think that's kind of where he lives. I think Seattle, is a good fit for him where he can do that. Definitely got the talent to do that. I think he's a little small for a 3 technique, right? But that 3-4 end, he can really do some damage. I think that's a good fit for him. Jarrett Verse for the Jags. So yes, Jags are still. Why not take a guy like this? Why not take a guy who's an excellent pass rusher from the state of Florida that you're familiar with? I don't think he's as good as Dallas Turner. I think he's probably the second best one on the board. I'd like to have seen a little bit more production from him, a little bit more consistency, but he's really good. I definitely think he's a guy. I don't know if he starts. I don't know if he kills right away, but I think he's on a team a little less pressure. This is about a good place to take him. Keon Coleman for the Florida State Seminoles going to the Cincinnati Bengals. Bengals went ahead, franchised T. Wiggins. They still may be losing Tyler Boyd. They may be losing Higgins next year. I don't think they're going to be able to afford it. I think they do look at the future and take the guy I think is the best route runner in the I don't know if he's the best route runner. I don't know about that. But the best 50-50 guy, I think, probably next to Marvin Harrison. I'm not worried about the 40 time because he's a big, strong guy. Some teams may drop him because of the 40 time. I think he probably stays. I think you get it. And here, he doesn't have to play right away. He can develop. He got 2 good receivers in front of him. So I do like the fit there for Cincinnati. Maris Mims played at Georgia for Todd Monken once upon a time offense. He's a little green. I think athletically, he's second to nobody. I think as an athlete, you watch him and he looks like you see some of that Joe Alt, some of that guy who's done a lot of that athleticism, that pancakes, and then you see it, and then but other times he looks a little green. So I think that's an interesting pick. I think absolutely Sean McVay is not going to pass on this guy. Sean McVay, they need linemen there. I definitely think they'll take him 19. Steelers 20, Jackson Powers Johnson. So this is elementary. The Steelers always do with elementary. They went ahead and got rid of Mason Cole. They need a center. This is easily the best center in the draft. I know some of you Steelers fans maybe want to take a quarterback or whatever, but that's a whole other thing. But I think this is exactly what the Steelers are going to do. Jackson Powers, this is probably the only center I think worth taking in the first round. Absolutely makes sense. They might take a tackle, might do that, but I don't think they pass on this guy. He's their excellent choice. Jordan Morgan, Arizona. Good, solid, all-around offensive tackle. So definitely there's a team there. Look, Arstead getting older. Definitely have to protect Tua with those concussions and everything he's had. Definitely take a guy here. Morgan, I don't know if it's a day one starter, bit of a project. I think project is too short. I think he can start pretty early, but maybe not right away, minute one. Lalutu from UCLA. He is defensive end, offensive tackle. Defensive end, edge rush. You can put it at that. I think he's as good as Jared Forrest. I think he's going to slip, frankly, because of his medical. He has a severe medical issue that he's had, and it's reported. I think that is going to scare teams off. Not the Eagles, though. Eagles they never have enough pass rush. So I definitely think the Eagles is a good spot for him. He could definitely fit right in. Jalen Carter, and all those guys they have. They're gonna have Brandon Graham when we get so yeah, it's a good spot for him to kind of come in and learn. Cooper DeJean, one of those Kirk Ferentz for Iowa. He's really good. He can play corner. I got no problem with that. I don't know what they're going to do exactly because he can play corner. Really see him as a good safety, though. Really think as a safety, you're going to get a lot more production from him right away. But it'd be interesting to see. A team might put him at corner, but I could definitely see safety. I think he's the number one safety, kind of like Brian Branch. I think either where you put him, he'll be fine. I think you can put him in either spot. Tyler Guyton for Oklahoma. So how many times have the Cowboys taken a guy from Oklahoma? He's good. I really think he's pretty good. I think you kind of put him in the category with Mims, a little green. Not a great combine, but I don't think they pass. Cowboys losing Tyron Smith. They definitely have to replenish on the offensive line. Maybe they're extending Dak Prescott. Definitely need it. They got to do some rebuilding of the line. I think this guy goes and helps them. Quentin Mitchell from Toledo. I think defense is where they got to go. It's a little bit of a small school guy, but he's really moving up the boards there. I think like a Green Bay is a great place for him. They kind of do very well with some of these small school guys. You could kind of come in. The defense is already pretty good. I think this is a good fit for him as well, going to Green Bay. Great speed, this guy. Great speed. Quentin Mitchell. A little bit more here. Tony Fonanu. Hopefully I'm saying it right. From guard from Washington. I didn't put tackle, but he can play tackle. Depends on where he is. I think putting him at guard, I think, is probably the most value for him. He's a big, strong guy. Big, strong guy. Definitely he got the size to go ahead and play guard. Definitely has the talent, the foot speed. So definitely lots of talent and ability from him to do that. Byron Murphy for Texas. I don't love him the way everybody else loves him. I'm not in. He's good. I kind of like him putting him and Newton in the same category. I think like you're running a 3-man line, 4-man line all the time with him inside. I think he's got to bulk up a bit. I think you put him at an end 3-4. I think it's perfect. I think that's kind of the case with him. So definitely going to a Cardinals team with good pass rushers already can kind of go in the rotation, and that definitely will work. Bills. Brian Thomas, LSU. They need receivers. I don't know what's going on with Diggs in the offseason. I don't know what's going on with him and Allen, but they definitely need it. I definitely think I think they're taking a receiver. This guy, I think, is slipping a bit more than I think you're going to see him on some boards, like 28 for the Bills. They got to be thrilled with taking this guy. This guy is absolutely a polished receiver, easy first rounder. I think I could definitely see him going 10 spots higher. But on this board, this is probably so many teams need offensive tackle. I think they got to be thrilled with that, Brian Thomas. Braylon Trice for the Lions, definitely looking for a partner on the other side with Aiden Hutchinson. So definitely they could use that. Big secondary need. So I think they're going to do that. I could definitely see secondary as well, but definitely the other side at the end and the secondary is where they're going to go. I think Braylon Trice, I don't think you pass on that. Baltimore Ravens. Lad McConkey. We're going to do a Ravens full draft here, but McConkey is really good. You know what I said? I said Wes Welker with him. You know what he is? Older school. Ed McCaffrey. He's got this. You're going to put him in a slot right now as he's developing, but eventually he could definitely play outside and do that. The only thing is separation for his size and speed. I don't know why he's not getting more separation. But good news is he's great in traffic. So even if he never gets it, maybe he can make a career doing it in traffic. 49ers, T'Vondre Sweat from Texas. Big guy. Size. Nothing wrong with building that defensive line that the Niners have. Nothing wrong with that. They're pretty stacked on offense. They're pretty stacked on the other side. But I think getting a young defensive tackle, they're going to keep. Nothing wrong with building that up. And Xavier Worthy. You know, we want to say they need to take a receiver, but they won 2 straight Super Bowls without it. But I don't think you pass on Xavier Worthy. Xavier Worthy, his speed is a thing. Well, if you can run 4.2, that's fast. Sub 4.3, that's fast. That's not just running the mill. That's no joke. So I think they finished the first round with Xavier Worthy. There you go. Mock draft whole league 1.0. So definitely check that out as well. We're going to post that on our social media as well. We're going to have 4 of these Ravens drafts and 4 of these NFL drafts. So we're definitely taking a look at that. Ravens, I think we're going to talk more about that, but I think they definitely would like to take a tackle if they could. I think a lot of them are going early here so far. So we'll definitely take a look at that going forward. Not going to spend a lot of time on this, but we're going to talk Indiana and Maryland. All right, so Maryland and Indiana here, I think have been kind of nice considering how bad the Terps have been. Like, relatively speaking, I think my expectations weren't as high. So, but yeah, they're not going to even go to the NIT. I think you have to beat Penn State. They have one more game left, and so you got to beat Penn State to do that. IU was better at the free throw line. They made 40% compared to the Terps. Terps were good as well. I think they hit 90% at the line. They got out rebounded. I think IU got out rebounded, and IU out rebounded the Terps. They should have. Kendall Ware, I think, got to start doing more for them. I think like there's something wrong, I guess, with some players with these big guys. You've kind of got like 7 foot, get under the hoop. That's kind of when they took control of the game. They went under the hoop, like they started taking advantage of the side. Too many of these teams, guys, just 7 foot, 6 foot ball, get under the basket. That's when they took over the game. They had the size advantage. They out rebounded them. They started doing more, and that's actually when they took it over. A lot of guys are mad at Kevin Willard because they blew a big lead. Not much to say about the Terps here. Lost a big lead in this one, not going to the tournament this year. I think they could win the tournament. They'd have to win the Big Ten tournament, obviously. I don't think that's going to happen. That's about it. I think a couple of things happened to sum it up kind of like a little bit for the Terps. We're going to talk next week, but kind of summing it up. The freshmen really didn't help them at all. DHS still kind of coming along. Kaiser, they were just disappointing. They were counting a lot on them to kind of turn their fortunes around, and it really didn't happen. Juju Reese kind of stepped up. Dante Scott kind of stepped up, but they're not the scorers on the level. Jameer Young should be first team all Big Ten. There's no question about that. He had to bail him out every chance they got. He didn't have enough help. It was obvious. They couldn't score. They really can't shoot. Nights where Young really went cold. They really went cold. And they kind of, and Reese and Scott, they're not scorers to that level. They kind of go as Jameer Young went. And that's what happened. And that's what happened in this. Indiana starts going under the hoop, and they get successful. So that is it there. Got to get to, so I won't spend too much time on the Terps, unfortunately. So they're at 500. One more game at Penn State. Finished with their home schedule, except for the Big Ten tournament. Lots of movement in the NFL. So what we're doing here is we're going to do our QB predictions, okay? I'm not going to spend a ton of time on a lot of stuff, but a lot is happening right now. So franchise tags went out. NFL Combine is now over. Now we're in the player movement season, right? So we're going to, next week, we're going to talk all about free agency, not as much about the draft, but we're going to talk this week about NFL QB predictions, okay? Who do I think is going to start week 1 for a lot of these teams? Not as much movement as last year, but definitely a lot of movement going on. Josh Allen and the Bills, that's obvious. Can they actually stop being the Buffalo Bills from the old? You know, can they break through and beat Kansas City? The Ravens kind of have the same problem. Not the only team that has the same problem. But can they break through? Tua Tagovailoa, I actually was impressed. I think they found a formula to keep him healthy. Can they break through? Drake May, you just saw it in the mock draft. I think he plays for the Patriots. I think they're crazy to pass on that. They definitely need a quarterback. I don't buy at all that they're going to take Mac Jones. I think that's just smokescreen as well, because maybe they can rob somebody in the draft to get an extra pick. but I think it's Drake May. Aaron Rodgers is going to play next season for the Jets. Interesting. We don't know what Aaron we're getting at this point. Hasn't played in a whole year. Didn't play towards Achilles on his first series with the Jets. So we don't know. Interesting to see. AFC North, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, Deshaun Watson. Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson, yeah, they're terrific. Burrow, I think, is kind of getting at least he got past Mahomes. He's the only one to beat Mahomes. So I think he's getting more of a pass. A little bit of heat on Lamar. I like to see him not turn into Jim Kelly, but no real worries here. They're sensational. They're going to compete for the MVP. I'm the only one in the world that doesn't think the Deshaun Watson context is horrible yet. It's kind of incomplete. I mean, he really didn't play much last year at all. He didn't play the year before, so I don't think they should give up on it yet. I mean, but they're stuck with that contract. I mean, teams hate that contract as well. Kenny Pickett for the Steelers. I kind of think he's going to stay there, Kenny Pickett. I don't think they have a lot of good choices. I don't think they have a lot of good choices. I think if they had a top of the league quarterback, they do it, or somebody that was significantly better than their prime. But guess what? They don't come often. So I definitely think they're sticking with Pickett at least at the start. I don't think he's got a lot of room. The South, a lot of the same. Trevor Lawrence, C.J. Stroud, Anthony Richardson, Will Levis. The question is Stroud the best quarterback now instead of Trevor Lawrence? That's the question. Are the Texans a better team than the Jaguars? So that'll be interesting to see. Will Levis has definitely done enough to start. I think absolutely. I don't think it's a slam dunk yet. A little bit of a small sample size, but no reason. There was enough there for me to move forward with that. And Anthony Richardson is complete incomplete. We have no idea. Played a couple of games, didn't start, played less than 3 games. This is like his rookie season again. No idea what Anthony Richardson you're going to get in the Colts. And they had a horrible organization for developing these guys. So I feel for him. Anthony Richardson. AFC West, Pat Mahomes, obviously. Super Bowl champ Justin Herbert. Happy to have Jim Harbaugh aboard. Raiders, yes, sir. Justin Fields. Think that is where he's going to wind up. Raiders do crazy things. I think they're going to take a quarterback. I think they're going to like Justin Fields. I think they're going. I think they're going to wait. I don't know if they're going to do it right away, but I think that's where he goes. If I had to pick it, I think that's a good. The Raiders like to roll the dice. I think that is. Just saw the mock draft. Bo Nix. I don't think they have a choice. You're getting rid of Russell. That cap hit is bananas. $85 million. It's the biggest in NFL history dead cap by far. Twice as much as anything else. Insane. Wow. Yeah, they're starting Bo Nix. NFC East. Jalen Hurts, Dak Prescott, Daniel Jones, Jaden Daniels. All three, Hurts, Prescott, and Jones, were worse last year than they were the year before. Interesting to see what we actually have with Jalen Hurts. I think some people think Daniel Jones is going to get out of there. I think that's just wishful thinking. That's stuck. Unless you're going to do what Denver did and spend all that money on a cap. I don't think they get rid of Daniel Jones. I think they're going to bring a vet in. I can believe that. Gardner Minshew or something like that, but I think it'll be Daniel Jones at the start. NFC North, Russell. So people kind of forget about Minnesota here, but Cousins, I think, is gone. And so I think somebody's got to fill that spot. I think Russell takes it. I don't think he's going to retire. I think that could be the other option. Russell actually wasn't that bad. He wasn't great, but I wasn't that bad. I think this is a good spot where he doesn't need to be. I don't think the expectation is going to be for him. I don't think it's going to cost him a lot of money. I don't think he was that bad there. I don't think he's better than Cousins, but I don't think this is. I think if I'm Minnesota, I'm definitely taking him in. I think he starts at the start too when they get him. Jared Goff for the Lions. Jordan Love for Green Bay. Caleb Williams, I think, starts for the Bears. I gotta say this: that division, the East, they were worse. These two guys, Goff and Love, they were better. No question about it. South, Baker Mayfield, I think he stays with stays with Tampa. Bryce Young, I think he goes with Bryce Young. I think he has a better second year with Carolina. Derek Carr, he should have easily won the division last year. I think he didn't even show up till the end of the year for whatever reason. That was just inconsistent. And I don't know if he's the best quarterback anymore because I think Kirk Cousins is going to Atlanta. Whereas he's already buying a house and everything in Atlanta. I still think the Falcons are a year too late. They could have had Lamar Jackson. And one more, Brock Purdy, Geno Smith, Matt Stafford, Kyler Murray. This might be the best division in the NFL if you look at quarterbacks. I mean, either this or the North, depending on what you think. But Purdy, I think is outstanding. Stafford, I think was really good. Kyler Murray, I think was good. And Geno, I think probably the worst in the division. Maybe a little bit of heat on him, but I start Geno Smith. I thought he's good enough. There you go. The quarterback predictions there for the NFL. So let's see and go over that. We don't know that, but I think Russell is going to go to Minnesota. I think Kurt is going to wind up in Atlanta. I don't think the Steelers and Giants do anything. I think despite all the rumors, I think they kind of stick with what they have. You might see a Gardner Minshew or Joe Flacco or something along those lines. Jacoby Brissett. There is a change, but not a lot there. So in the draft, interesting to see two names I don't think are going to start: Penix and JJ McCarthy. I don't think they start week one. I don't think so, unless they like Penix instead of Knicks in Denver. That'd be the only one I would see there. Your Raiders mock draft. All right. So we're going to do the 7th round mock draft for the Ravens. We're going to go over this here for the Baltimore Ravens. Mock draft 1.0. We're going to go over these. We went ahead already with it. Ladd McConkey. Here's the other thing, too. He's familiar with Todd Monken. So this is a guy that Todd Monken knows. Knows a lot about him. Despite his skill set, I think this would work. I think in a perfect world, the Ravens would take one of the tackles if they could. So I'll definitely keep an eye on. Let's see how the board goes as we go along. But I think in a perfect world, they take one of the tackles. I don't think they pass on this guy if he's here. 2nd round, Cooper Beebe. He's moving up the draft boards, I think, pretty quickly here. I've seen it since I've been looking at this. Road grader. If Edwin Mulatalo was your favorite player, you're going to love this guy. You're going to love him. Big, strong, physical guy. No question about it. He's a road grader. He's got excellent strength, power. I think you could put him at right guard right away. I do. I think if you could replace Zeitler, you can absolutely put this guy in. I think you can put him at either guard spot. I think he's terrific. Bit more of a project here. Matt Consley from Pitt. Bit of an incomplete. Just as he was ascending, he got hurt. So he didn't miss the game. I think he played 3 games his senior season. Still kind of rehab, but he should be ready to go and start week 1. Played a lot of guard, a lot of tackle, a lot of versatility. Bit of a project, somewhat. I don't think you could play him right away. He might surprise you, though. It depends. But I'd like to have seen him, obviously, play more his senior season without the injury. But prototypical size and everything for the tackle spot. Definitely he can play left tackle. No question about it. Cam Hart from Notre Dame, Fighting Irish. Hail to the victor. I see Brandon Stevens when I see him. This is kind of what the league is trending to. Not necessarily guys that are just fast, but guys who are big, strong. So I see receivers getting smaller, DBs getting bigger. That's kind of what this guy is. So definitely this is DeCosta's round, the 4th round. Definitely I think he's going to go ahead and take a corner there. Definitely could use some cornerback depth. Eichenberg, I think Tommy Eichenberg, I absolutely believe in the older NFL, this guy would be taken in the 1st or 2nd round. They don't really use his position anymore like that. He's an inside linebacker. He flows to the football. Kind of reminds me of Zach Thomas, the way he runs straight to the ball all the time. Some guys just have that knack of getting straight to the ball carrier. That's what he has. So definitely, hey, look, you're losing Patrick Queen. You got Trent Simpson there. This guy can definitely push him. Not saying he can start right away. I don't know, but definitely this is a steal. I'm shocked that he's low. I wouldn't surprise me if you want to hear, but right now he's mocked right 4th round. Another guy you might be losing is Devin Duvernay. So this is a guy that you went ahead and you get Smith from Texas A&M. He was one of the best kick punt returners in the college football last year. He definitely can play the position. So I'm not worried about that at all. Definitely can play the position. Definitely can play wide receiver there. Bit more ways to go as a wide receiver, but that's why you pick him in the 5th round. But if you want production right away, definitely he could compete with Tylan Wallace for that kick punt return spot right away. Play on special teams can absolutely help you. Jim Thorpe Award winner Trey Taylor. A lot of people see him as undrafted. I don't. This guy is all over the field. Great safety. Little undersized. Some people might move him to linebacker. He doesn't need to play linebacker. He can absolutely play the line of scrimmage wherever right now. A lot of Chuck Clark in him. I think he maybe, I do believe if he wants an NFL career, he might have to put on another 15 pounds of muscle, but all the other intangibles are there, instinct, etc. Absolutely, this guy has all the intangibles to go ahead and play. I love him. Love watching him. He's one of these guys. Guys get drafted for that reason. Whenever I watch him, it's like, man, this guy's always near around the scrimmage. He's tremendous. Taylor, late round pick. So a good guy to take a chance on. Physically not as, but all the intangibles are there. And there's another guy, Kendall Milton, is another guy familiar with Todd Monken himself. Played on that championship team. He's more of a contributor. I don't think he's going to start right away. Definitely like that. But definitely in this Ravens offense, I could actually see him fitting like a Gus Edwards type role. That one cut go, absolutely he can do that in the offense. So not a bad chance to take on a guy you're familiar with late. There you go. Ravens mock draft. There you have it. I do believe the Ravens would, in a perfect world, take a tackle. I don't think one's going to be there. I think a lot of tackles are going to go early. I'd be surprised. Maybe a Tyler Mighton or Joe Morgan, see how they feel about them. But I think they take one early. And this is probably one of the best teams, I think, at building a team here. No trades in either of my mock drafts yet. So we will see how that goes as well. But I like it. I like the prospects of it. They have a lot of picks too. So we will see how that goes. A lot of football, a little bit of basketball, shift to baseball here. And we've been doing positions here. So who are the top 10 designated hitters in all of baseball? Interesting to do this nowadays with designated hitter, because how do teams feel about it? There's so many teams now that don't like the DH role. When I was watching baseball coming up, it was basically a lot for veteran hitters. You get a guy like Harold Baines, a Dave Henderson, a Edgar Martinez. Take a guy, maybe he can't play the field for whatever reason, and you give him a bat, and he goes ahead and rakes on you. So a lot of managers now like to go ahead and take a guy leave that spot open, per se. You know, they don't necessarily like to go ahead and have a guy like the flexibility, like to take like what Brandon Hyde likes to do, like to take Andy like Adley Rushman and actually use him on a day off, have him DH. But these are guys, I think, the list, they obviously have positions, but they're going to get the bulk of their at-bats at DH. All these guys on this list. Giancarlo Stanton. Yes, he's here. He fell off. I mean, I think it's part of why the Yankees were struggling. Definitely fell off. There's no other way to say that. Can't stay healthy. Definitely, I think playing him at DH all the time, I think that's the right thing with him. I will say why he's here, besides the fact there's not a lot. DH is, like I said, he can hit for power. That's what you want as a DH. I want a guy who's going to hit the ball over the fan. He can do that. If he can ever stay healthy, he's definitely going to get you 30 home run. I mean, there's no question about that. but he can ever stay healthy. I think also too having Soto there, having some more help in the offense there is going to help him. But I definitely think he's got a ways. Definitely think he's got a ways to go. I think put him at 10. I'm gonna be kind and put him there. Here's a guy who made a laser leap last year. Again, most of the bats at DH. Ryan O'Hearn. I think he's gonna get most of his DH at bat for the Orioles. He's definitely gonna split time with Mountie, but I think more he's gonna DH. I would say he's gonna have to fight off Colton Cowser. He's gonna have to fight off Heston Kjerstad. But I think Brandon Hyde's gonna find a way to get bats. This is how he's gonna do it. Ryan O'Hearn. I think he was one of the most improved players in the league. He kind of came from nowhere. So good for him, Brian O'Hearn. Can he repeat that? That's why he's like down here. It was such a big leap. Is he a one-year guy? Can he go ahead and hit like he is? Situational hitting last season was terrific for Ryan O'Hearn. Number 9 for the Orioles. Eloy Jimenez. I'm going to stick by my take that these young hitters for the White Sox are good. Andrew Vaughn, Eloy Jimenez, etc. They're good. I think he wasn't as good. I think this is another case. Maybe not what they were hoping, but definitely 20 home runs, 80 RBIs is the expectation. Having him play DH every day, I think, is a good spot for him if they can get some pitching on a team that probably won't win many games, I think. But I think definitely you're going to get a lot of production out of DH if you use Eloy Jimenez. There's another Chicago, Christopher Morel. Kind of a weird one to be DHing all the time. I think this is probably with Darby Swanson there. This is probably where you have to play him. He's only going to get better. I think eventually he's going to play the field, but I think this is where he's going to get most of his bats at DH. I definitely think a lot of people are sleeping on this guy. He definitely has that 20-80 potential as well. Average is not great. I think it's got to come up a bit. I think that's probably maybe Keaton Rousfield, but he can hit. I definitely think he can hit. Another guy, timely hitting. That's why he's DHing. Guy, he hits in the right spots at times. Timely hitting is sometimes important, kind of underlooked. Jorge Soler got Cubs uniform on, played for the Marlins last year. He's got the Giants this year. JD Martinez kind of turned down his contract and he took it. Tremendous power. You talk about like what I was talking about years gone by with a Dave Henderson, a Dave Parker, Harold Baines, a guy like that. This is this guy taking full advantage. A vet who can still hit for power and is going to give you 30-plus home runs. I don't think he's going to have as good a season as last year. This is why he's 5. But he's still really good. Definitely love to have him in any lineup. Definitely adds punch. Giants could use him. They get him and they get Matt Chapman, so that helps a lot there as well. JD Martinez doesn't have a team. Whoever gets him is going to get a good hitter. I think he turned down, $20 million from the Giants. I'm kind of maybe thinking Boston should really take a look at him, but he's going to hit regardless. This guy can hit. He doesn't need a lot of spring training to go ahead and hit. I think the only reason he left was because, Ohtani got there. But he's terrific. As far as a hitter, he's more productive than what he realized. I think like him being a DH, I think he doesn't get the respect that he should get, but he's got tremendous power. So JD Martinez, number 4, still doesn't have a team from what I understand, but whoever gets him is getting a great player. Marcell Ozuna for the Atlanta Braves. Here's another Brave on the list. Big surprise. Ozuna's going to hit for power again as well. Here's another guy. He's with that great outfield that they have. Acuna, Michael Harris, and all those guys. Acuna's got to play somewhere. Perfect for him to go ahead and DH. That's where most of his at-bats are going to come from. Nothing stops him from getting 30 home runs and 90 RBI. Think he'd be at 1 in most scenarios. But he really is a lot. Now, here he's not that good of a guy. I think I've heard a lot of that. I don't know as much about that, but definitely the power bat is there. The average is pretty good. A lot of these guys are power and no average, are not as good at average. This is why they're not playing in the field, not playing more. But decent. He's pretty good, especially with the lineup he's in. Definitely put him in a 5-6 hole. You're going to get a lot of production. Talk about production. Who doesn't love Kyle Schwarber, man? You gotta love it. Hits 190. How are you second on the list? You hit 190. Oh, yes, he hit 47 home runs, 2 straight years. This guy's, I mean, hits for power, hits for power, hits for power. The old guy, you young guys never heard the name Dave Kingman or Gorman Tom. They were just like this guy. No average, I don't care. Hitting it over the fence every chance they got. Not supposed to swing for the fence. Oh, I'm swinging for the fence. I love it. Kyle Schwarber, number 2 for the Phillies. He's going to play DH most of at bats this year. Might get some left in, but number 1, the best player in all of baseball, Shohei Ohtani. Going to DH for the Dodgers for sure this year. He's going to hit 50 home runs. He's the one I would say I'm very confident he's going to hit 40 plus. There's no question. That's what he does. His swing is terrific, flawless. Hits for power, hits for average, hit the opposite field, hit nothing he can't do as a hitter. No such thing. You can't get him out. Plus, when he does hit it, he hits at 1,000 yards. He's terrific. Shohei Ohtani, number 1. He's really rich after that contract. Shohei Ohtani, number 1 DH in all of baseball. So we got 2 more to do. Next week we're going to do relief pitching, and then we're going to do starting pitching to go ahead and finish out the series. Third string hitting report for the Baltimore Orioles. So, third string training report. All right, so let's talk about the Grapefruit League. Grapefruit League, that is baseball spring training. Grapefruit League, that's Florida. Cactus League is Arizona, for those of you that didn't know. Orioles are 10-2. They've been very good in spring training. Wins and losses don't really matter, but it's good to win. They've been winning. So they've looked really good. I think you see the depth of the organization in these games. Even in split squad games, they look really good all the way around. So I've been very impressed with the stats and everything I've been reading here, what they have been doing. So 10-2, I think that's first in the whole Grapefruit League. So again, you don't win an award for it, but it's good to win. All right, it's good, better to win than to lose. They're off to a good start. Interesting here, Paul Skees, retired Orioles prospect Jackson Holliday for a grounder to second base in Thursday's spring training game for the top overall pick. Retired the side in the first inning. There was one in his lone inning. He was throwing his fastball at 102 miles an hour. So those are the top 2 picks in the last couple years. Paul Skeens, I think, is tremendous prospect. LSU, if you watch the College World Series, you know how good he is going against Jackson Holliday. Very cool to see that as well. I don't think he's going to be in the minors long for the Pirates. I think Jackson Holliday, all accounts, that he's doing very well. His bat is so quick through the zone. Looking at him the other day, I think he had 2 hits in a game. So Jackson's been doing very well as well. So it's good to see the future of the game, those 2 young guys. John Means is making progress, but not likely to pitch in any spring games. What is going on with Means? Nobody's saying it. I keep hearing stuff like this, but what's wrong with him? What's the injury? What's wrong? No, I haven't seen it anywhere. What the injury is. Bradish, I mean, they were kind of descriptive. Okay, so UCL, it's going to need some time, blah, blah, blah. Like Means, they just kind of saying, well, he's not ready. He's making progress. You kind of get all this vague stuff with Means. So interesting. It'd be nice to know what's going on with Means as well. But it doesn't look like anything that's super serious, relatively speaking. But you never know what Means. He's missed a lot of time. So I don't think he's going to start the season. I think for sure, my guess is it'll be May. Because if he's not going to pitch in spring at all, he's going to have an extended spring. They're going to DL him at the start. One guy who might find an opportunity because of Means or Bradish, the timeline recently, is Julio Teheran. If he's got something, I think it could be long relief there in the future. So Julio Teheran, if you don't know who he is, like he was a top prospect in all of baseball for many years for the Braves. Pretty good. I think he didn't really become anything as much. I think that's a little hard. He became pretty good. Maybe not the mega star that some people were predicting. I think it's worth taking a shot at a guy like that. Somebody who's been around a long time. He's not that old. I mean, he's like in his mid 30s, but he really started pitching when he was 20. Really had a fastball. This is a guy. Kate Kimball certainly knows him, was his former teammate. So definitely looking at it. I'm thinking still it's going to be Tyler Wells and Cole Irvin, but bringing a guy like this in could shake up some things. Going to push some guys. That's what you want in spring training. You want guys, best man may win. You want competition if you are a manager. Couple more here. Grayson Rodriguez collects a pair of strikeouts in 2 innings in a spring training game start against the Pirates. So they're a little bit more now. So you saw 1 inning, now you're seeing 2 innings. Grayson, I think, has looked pretty good at all. I think Grayson is going to be your second best starter right behind the Corbin Burns. That's going to start. So keep that in mind. I think Grayson has looked good. I think you don't want any more injuries. We don't want any more injuries. We don't want it. So we want make it through the spring. Take your time. So Grayson's looked really good. Colton Cowser has been outstanding this spring. Colton Cowser crushed his 3rd home run of the spring in a 9-2 win over the Pittsburgh Pirates on Sunday to improve the Grapefruit League slash line to 360, 563, and 1182. Cowser's making it hard for them to send him down. That's great. Cowser is really making it hard. I'm thinking he makes the team. I don't know what role he's going to be in. I think it's going to have to be a bench role. It's going to have to be a utility role of some kind. I don't think he starts. I don't think there's a spot for him to start. I don't think you're going to be able to send him AAA. He's making it very hard on him. I don't think they trade a player either. I will say we are living now in a whole new world without Angelosis. So they're not just going to sit around. If Cowser's impressing him enough, it happens. So we will see about that. One last thing, bad news. Cedric Mullen did leave Monday game with tightness as well. So definitely as we keep it out for Cedric there, got a little tightness there. Doesn't again hear anything that was super serious, but a little concerning with that. Sometimes in spring it's tough to tell. We try and do these reports and everything with the spring, but sometimes it's tough to tell. Sometimes it's just being cautious. So hopefully that's all it is. With Cedric, hopefully he can come back. I don't think it's anything where he's going to not be there at the beginning as well. Opening day is shortly. So we're going to go ahead and have an Oriole game. Let's finish with this here. Orioles opening day, March 28th, 3 o'clock, Camden Yards. Angels without Ohtani, but they're going to face the Baltimore Orioles. Mike Trout, we're going to get to see opening day. So definitely check that out. We're going to have a few more spring training reports for you as well. Thank you. A lot happened. Ravori Sports Podcast this week. Thank you for joining us. Definitely like and subscribe all of our social media platforms. You have an awesome rest of your day.